Good afternoon. I don't think good evening to everyone. How are all of you doing? I see Basanta nice and early. Well, I see Jamil before earlier. Tamin Haider was on the session during the live stream as we monitored the markets. Basanta jumped on. Hey Erwin, how you doing? Hey Noah Chuku, how you doing? I hope you're all doing great, doing well. Had an awesome weekend. Hey Jumarinas, good morning. Thank you again. It is Monday, the 15th of July. Thanks for joining me again on this daily market analysis. Did anyone watch the Euro finals? England did not win. Spain is the reigning champions 4 times, winning the Euro Cup or the European Championships, whatever it's called. New record. So if you watched it, let me know. Let me know what you thought about it. Hey Brian, how you doing? And also we had the massive news. I'm pretty sure you've heard it, you've seen the news, you've watched the analysis. You had the right track mind of thinking about it, you had the left track of mind of thinking about it, you've probably merged it together. We saw, very unfortunately, we saw the news about the assassination attempt on Trump. I'm not going to go into details about that. I don't have any particular views about that. It is on the news, so you can go read more about that. In terms of how it's affected the markets, we did see a bit of a gap to the upside as markets are now starting to consider that Trump might most likely win the election, and if he does, it's going to bring about some strength to the dollar. And then also we've seen a push to the upside on the cryptocurrencies as well. All right, so that's the broad-based view of what has what's derived from the very unfortunate scenes over the weekend. I'm not going to go much into that. I think there's still a lot more information to be played out before we're going to get any good directional bias to come. So we'll look out for that info as it comes out. Okay. Hey Lindy, how you doing? Good morning. Held some BTC and Ethereum over the weekend. Great profits. Yes, Owen, I know exactly what you're talking about. If you guys checked out my video on the 4th of July, I think I did on the 4th of July, we were talking about the Bitcoin, buying the Bitcoin bounce as it was finding the support at that 54, 56,000 price level. It's found that support, it's bounced back up to 60-something thousand, pushing back up. So if you haven't already, go check out that video. I don't know how to put the links in there, but it's in my channel. And then let's get into it. All right, I digress too much, but let's get into it. Hey Nev, how are you doing? You missed last week, nice to be back again. Remember, for all the regulars, a big welcome back. And if you're new to the session, do drop a message and say hi. Let me know where you're joining us from. If you can, do remember to help me out massively by remember to click on that like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, put it into the chat and let me know. I am streaming, or I have been streaming since 10 a.m. It is 3 p.m. now. I'll continue streaming through the day. So you can monitor, I want to make it a bit like a trade companion where I'm trading together with you, but not really exactly together side by side, but over the internet, right? So I'm your trade companion, live streaming with you through the day. What you should do, keep me on. Right on the side, I'll play some nice music and we can share some trade ideas and analysis together. Okay, Rita's asking, where can I find the TRSI, maybe the TRSI is a good idea as well. I'll think about that. New product coming out. TSRIMACD, Rita, you can drop me a message on TradingView. I will respond to you through that. Or just drop me a private message anywhere and I'll respond to that. Hey Jamil, how you doing? Hey Diana, good morning. I had a super weekend. Euro is done, and honestly the best team did win. Yeah, I would have loved to see the England team win as well. Okay, digression aside, let's get back to it. Daily market analysis. Quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material only. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. That done. Now, take that away. There we go. Okay. Let's look at what has happened since the last time we spoke. Hey Clocks, how are you doing? Hope you're well. Jamil said today morning 2 trades, one on gold and pound. TP hit. Super. Hey Jamil, early morning, two take profits hit. That's fantastic. Good stuff. I didn't get into anything. I was just looking at it sitting right across. So if you had a trade, it probably would have been from over the weekend as it pushed to the upside on the pound dollar. That would be a very nice trade. That would have been a very nice trade. Okay. So what has happened since the last time we spoke? Yes, we know. Attempt on a live over the weekend. Done that. Talked about that already. On Friday, what we saw was US PPI month to month. It was a minus 0.2. Got revised up to a 0. Expected at 0.1. Got released at a 0.2, while core PPI was a 0, revised up to a 0.3, expected a 0.2, came out at a 0.4. So what we see, and consumer sentiment dropping slightly from a 68.2 down to a 66. Overall, it wasn't massive news. It didn't cause too much. It didn't cause as much of a problem on the dollar as compared to the CPI the day before. But what we did see was not yesterday, on Friday, with the PPI, producer price index, inflationary data on cost of production increasing slightly. But we did see the dollar index on Friday. Right, at that point, you can see there, pushed up slightly, and then after that continued to the downside. Right, pushed up slightly on release of the news, and then continued to the downside, following with that overall trend that we've been seeing. So very easily, that was what happened with the news and the dollar index on Friday. I didn't trade that. I think Jimmy's not on the session, I think. Oh wait, Jimmy, I thought I saw him. No. Well, Jimmy messaged and like, hey, what do you think of the pound dollar? I was out on Friday, so didn't even trade, didn't even look at the pound dollar in the evenings. But we did see the dollar push to the downside to find support along that 104 round number level, exactly as we were talking about on the 12th, consolidating below 104.80 to remain bearish with key support at 104 round number. So it pushed down. Take that away. That's happened already. Okay. We did see a gap to the upside. This is again because of that anticipation. There we go. Dollar buoyant, crypto jumps as markets turn in favor of a Trump victory. That's why we saw that gap to the upside, and it looks like it's pushing to the upside again. Then with that said, now through to today, the Japanese are on the bank holiday for Marine Day. Nothing much else. Chinese GDP didn't bother too much. Chinese data, I don't ever bother too much about the Chinese data. All the way through to Empire State Manufacturing Index, not something I pay attention to. So today is really going to be one of those days where it's a bit of continuation from Friday. Okay, I look at this as the dollar has found support. How much is it going to push back up by before possibly continuing on with the trend okay? I'm still looking at it as, is it going to bounce, well, is it going to retrace and then continue lower, or is it going to break to the upside? We'll look at that with a bit of a lack of news for today. Tomorrow, well, early tomorrow morning, we do have Chair Powell speaking. Fed Chair Powell speaking at the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. Audience questions expected. I do think that that's going to bring about some volatility at midnight, my time, about 8 p.m. for a lot of you guys. I think it's going to, it might bring about some, so it looks like it's going to retrace today, through the day slightly, and then might come back down again later tonight, especially if Chair Powell comes out a little bit dovish, talking about the timeline for the rate cuts through to tomorrow. We have Canadian CPI numbers to be released and US retail sales numbers. I'll tell you about that during tomorrow's session. Okay, now with that, again, Rita especially, and for anyone else, if you want to find out more about using my TSRI MACD, basically the MACD, but it crosses over early, so you get in a trade early or you get out of a trade earlier as well, so that you get in early and get out at a maximum. You can drop me a message, so head on to TradingView, search for my nickname or my handle there, drop me a message, I'll get you a 1-month free trial. Okay? So dollar index right now. Today is the 15th of July. It's middle of the month. Dollar push out. Still finding that point. Okay, what I'm looking at here, again with a lack of news, generally with a lack of news, I was going to say that it could retrace quite a bit more. It's sitting right at that 50% level. Okay. Just checking the chat, sorry. Inverted cup and handle on the dollar index. I see that. So cup and handle. Right. Now with that, I'm also thinking, so that might push and then turn back down. I feel that it's going to retrace, but how much is it going to retrace by before pushing back down? That's what I'm trying to figure out, right? And like Basanta was saying, there is an inverted, so it's a very narrow cup. Right? You have that cup there, and then you have the handle there. So we're looking for it to push back up, and then after that break to the downside. Inverted cup and handle. I'm looking at this. Generally, what I'm looking for is that it needs to stay below 104.50. Okay. Needs to stay below 104.50 to remain bearish. Look for completion of retracement to retest 104 round number support level. There we go. Took a while, back into the frame of things. So we're looking for it to possibly retrace back up no more than 104.50 before coming back down. So like that. To test that 104 round number support level. I don't think there is going to be enough today to break 104 unless Chair Powell says something radical, not radical, but super dovish later on tonight. But I don't think there'll be enough for today to break that support level. Okay, if it does break that support level, you could be looking at the next point down here at about 103.50 as your next interim level. That's what I'll look out for. Okay, there we go. We've labored on this dollar index for long enough. Let's take that away. Then onto the Kiwi. We were in between, right? Kiwi was on Friday. We said we're going to buy at 0.61. It didn't get to that point, right? 0.61. It's just sat there, didn't push up. And then this morning, I thought that it could push higher. It didn't do that either, right? So we're still looking for it to bounce off that trend line if the dollar does regain some strength, right? But what we're looking at, dollar regaining some strength before that weakness coming back into play. So again, we're looking for it to test and bounce. If you draw that a little bit closely, so very similar to what we've seen here on the 2nd of July, again 10th, again 12th, now we're looking at it. We're looking for this bounce and push back up. You could be looking to buy. I don't really like this. 6-1. Stop loss 20. Take profit 55. I think it's the same thing. Stop loss 6-1, buy 6-1, stop loss 20, take profit 50, 55. There we are looking at it. I feel like it's got a little bit more downside, like more of a bit of a false break to happen before we're going to see that push, that possible push back up. All right, a question is Kiwi H4, MAC crossing up, nope, crossing down, H4, crossing down. Yeah, that's why I think it could push this level, test and bounce. Well, you see, you don't want to just use the TSRI MACD. You use that together with your trend lines. You use that together with your support level. If you were looking to sell this down from this point, then it becomes a bit tight because you're looking at only about a 25 pip take profit, right? So it's either you look for it to back to the H1, bounce off this trend line to buy it up, or you'll be looking for it to break, test the support, and you could be looking to buy it up. Quite likely that I'm a bit uncomfortable with this. I think quite likely we could see that bounce off the support. Okay, but for now, let's look at that. Then onto the Aussie. Now, Aussie, we said it was going to push up, test that resistance, and then failed to break that resistance before it retraced. I missed a message. Diana said, I know Trump is against Bitcoin. Don't you think it was because of that incident that Bitcoin is flying? Actually, I thought he was. I actually don't know that relationship between Trump and Bitcoin that well, but I was reading somewhere that Trump was quite a I forgot what's the word, quite a supporter of the cryptocurrencies. I thought. Don't know that exactly, but it could also be a move towards. Well, we're seeing the dollar push up, so technically that should have led to cryptocurrencies coming back down, but I think that there is a bit of a shift as well, so that's why we saw that bounce. Let me check. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere about Trump supporting the cryptocurrencies, and that's why we see that pushing up. Once I find that, I'll put it in the Discord group. Okay. Aussie dollar failing to break that resistance, pushing up. Then that's holding. That's holding. I think what would be interesting is if we see that push, if we see that sit around there, test, and then break back down. I'm actually thinking of that right now. So I'm looking at a possible short 6790, below that 6785. Stop loss 20 pips, take profit 55 to the downside. Right, so I'm looking at that, testing, squeezing, breaking on dollar strength if it now sits around there before pushing back up. Yep, I like that. 6, 7, 8, 5, 20 to 55. So either it breaks, 0.6785, stop loss 20, take profit 55. Right, so it's either, in terms of a trade idea, either we have the Kiwi retracing before dollar weakness, pushing it back up for that 50 pips. That's the dollar weakness scenario. Or we have the dollar some weakness and then after that gaining in strength back down, and then we have that dollar strength scenario in the Aussie. Okay, then onto the US yen. Someone during the session today was asking what's about the yen. It's sitting right in that consolidation. Right in that consolidation along that 158 support level. Is the Bank of Japan done with its intervention? I would think so, especially that they're on a bank holiday today. But it looks like it's gonna sit in that consolidation. You might want to give it a little bit more space. 157.50, 60 to 160 to the downside. 160 be down there, that makes sense. We don't need that. Let me see. What if did that. Come all the way down to 155. Thanks for that, Augusto. So Augusto just put it into the chat and said Trump has emerged as the preferred candidate for the Bitcoin and crypto community, promising to protect people's right to hold the Bitcoin and being announced as a headline speaker at the Bitcoin 2024 conference later this month. From Forbes, article from Forbes. Thanks for sharing that. So yeah, I don't know whether I read that article, but I read something along those lines, and that's why. All right. So I think, okay, back to this US yen, 157.50, 60 to 160. I'll be happy with that. US yen, we're looking to sell at 157.50. Stop loss 60, take profit 160 to the downside. Okay, that'll be when it breaks its previous low. Okay, I'm happy with that. Then onto the pound dollar. We were looking at that consolidating, breaking above that previous high. I was actually looking at this trade before I left the office on Friday, right? Before I left the office on Friday, thinking, could I buy it up? I wasn't going to monitor it, so I didn't trade that up. But it's pushed up. The main thing is that it's found just below that 1.3 level. Right? As much as it's pushed up, it's found a bit of resistance near to that 1.3 level. And there. Okay. If we're going to see further dollar weakness, what needs to happen is price needs to break above that 1.3 level first before I would be looking to buy it up. So 1.3020. Stop loss would be about 30 pips. Let me see. Take profit. You could try. Hang on. Okay, hang on. I'm going to do that. Take profit could be up there. Let me zoom in a bit. Just check. Could be about there. So back to the present on H1 time frame. We're looking at it to break. I don't think it'll go 120. I think even if it goes that 70, it'll be quite a good move. And I do rank this quite high on my watch list, right? So above that 1.3020, 30 to 70 to the upside. So pound dollar by 1.3020, stop loss 30, take profit 70 to the upside. Pound dollar left a gap. Yeah, that's, well, I don't actually see the gap here. Everything else had a gap. There's a bit of a gap here Saturday. Oh yeah, that's a gap. So it's going to close that gap. It needs to break that 1.3 level before we're going to see the upside. Okay, happy with that. Through to the euro. It looks like I'm drawing some musical notes. Friday, we said that it's going to go up, test that resistance. Want to see what happens at that resistance level, right? We said look for reaction at 1.0920. We saw it push up to 1.0909 or 10, and then it gapped back down. Now it looks like it's sitting there. This morning I said look for it to maybe test that resistance again. It's so far struggled to do that. Now looking at this, it's supporting. Again, I would say that we've seen that this is actually a, I know I'm zooming in and out of the chart. I just want to check out something. This is actually a level that I want to pay attention to. Right? So as it comes to that point, you see it sitting there. Perhaps if that dollar strength does come back into play, then you're looking at 1.0875, stop loss 20, take profit 30 to the downside, or even as low as this point, which is a good 65 to the downside, with some hesitation at 1.0850. Okay, I like that. So we're looking at the euro to sell down 1.0875. $1 strength. We're looking to sell at 1.0875. Stop loss 20. Yep, take profit 65. With a hesitation at 1.0850. There we go. Now, on to the next. It hasn't been that super exciting on the right across the board in the major currencies, especially today. Could be a good chance to take a breather. I think it will come back. We saw that happen last week, right? Monday was quiet, Tuesday was a little bit better, Wednesday a lot better, Thursday was a massive fireworks. So we could be, I don't think be to that extent, but you got to take advantage of when the market is going to be quiet as well. Okay, Swiss franc sitting right in the middle. We were here when we spoke about this. We were here, right here, when we spoke about this last week, and we're not that far off from where we were from last week. Basically, dollar index still sitting in that area. All right, so that's going to sit in there. Might see it push down, but I don't think we're going to have much to do on the Swizzy. Look for reaction at 8.9. I would say something similar. Look for reaction at 8.9. That's right in the middle. I'm not too keen on that. Then USCAD, inverted head and shoulder, took a long time to break, pushing to the upside. We were talking about this at 1.3660. It's getting there, breaking that overall consolidation. We've done that reaction at 1.36 where it tested and bounced. So now as it tries to push back up, what I'm seeing here on the ESRI MACD is a crossover. So I'm anticipating another retest, and then if it bounces back up, I'll be looking for that move up. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking out for. In terms of pricing, 1.3660. I think that's fair. Okay, so we're looking for it to USCAD retrace and break higher, if that makes sense. We're looking to buy at 1.3660. Stop loss would be about 20. Take profit, don't think 90. Well, you can have it at 90, but I think that a more reasonable level would be perhaps there at that 61. Okay, maybe a hesitation we can say at that point. Oh, nice one, 67, 1.36, 1.37. Okay, so we'll do that by 20. Take profit 90, hesitation at 1.37. There we go. Then onto the gold. Right, then onto gold. Failed to break lower, significant level on Friday, formed a bit of a double top sitting right there. I know with what has happened over the weekend, I've seen people say gold is going to get to 3,000, gold is going to get to 4,000. Before it gets to 3,000, before it gets to 4,000, there are a lot of levels it needs to clear. All right, so it's nice and fun. This is on H4 time frame. It's nice and fun to call for sky high numbers because you look like a champ when it gets there, but it does need to get past a couple of levels first, such as that 2450 level where it needs to break. So again, back to the H1 time frame, what I'm looking at here is that as the dollar is retracing, we're going to see that push back up. If again it breaks above that 2420 level, then we could see 2450. Okay, so break above 2420 to trade up to 2450. I'm quite happy with that. Now, if you are like Jamil, who has been trading free now with all the trades hitting his take profit, do share it into the group. If you haven't already, do share it into the Discord channel as well. It might not seem like a big price moving day, but if you can scalp it here and there are still some opportunities. If not, then you can always wait till tomorrow. I'm sure something will come around. And in the meantime, please trade well, trade safe. I'll keep the stream running as we monitor some possible trade setups coming around. If you have any questions, put it into the chat, let me know. Do remember to click the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all tomorrow as well. Take care now.